Hello everyone and welcome to Leonora AstroTarot. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm delighted that you decided to drift over to my corner of YouTube for this full moon in Pisces video. The full moon in Pisces is coming up on the 20th, 21st, depending of course on where you are in the world. And it's a special one. It's a lovely one. It's happening at 28 degrees of Pisces, so the very late degrees of Pisces. And it will be conjunct Neptune, reasonably conjunct, about 7 degrees away. Neptune is, I think, at about 21 degrees of Pisces currently. And Neptune just casts a magical spell, right, over things. So if you are a Pisces, this will be particularly special for you, but really anyone with planets or significant placements at the late degrees of a water sign, so Cancer and Scorpio as well. But because this full moon is in the cusp, if you are also on the early degrees of a fire sign, this will also affect you. But this is a good full moon for everyone. With Neptune, yes, it casts a little bit of a mystical sheen over things. It's a time of dreams coming to fruition, things feeling kind of a little bit more romantic and enchanting than they usually do. Neptune is the planetary ruler of Pisces, so it is at home in Pisces, and all of these qualities of sort of spirituality, creativity, empathy, everything that Neptune represents are really sort of represented at their highest levels in the sign of Pisces. So this full moon is sort of giving all of us a little bit of a blast of that. If you are unsure where this full moon is falling in your personal chart, because if you're reading sort of horoscopes online, most likely that will be for your solar chart. If you don't know your rising sign, I do recommend looking at the rising sign horoscope if you're interested in how this full moon will affect your life currently. If you're unsure of your rising sign, you do need your birth time to calculate that and calculate the houses of your chart. If you're interested in how these moon cycles and these general planetary cycles affect you personally, if you've never explored your chart before, I am offering Natal Chart Readings. You can see all the information about that in the description box down below. You can reach me at leonora.astrotarot@gmail.com. But today we're just asking for a little bit of advice, a forecast about what we might expect and how we might make the most of this full moon. I do think it's always a nice idea to make a ritual of it with full moon and also new moon cycles. Full moons are all about culmination. They're about the endings of cycles. So, writing down perhaps the things that you would like to let go of as you move into a new phase. I think these things can just increase the positive potential effects that the lunation cycle has to bring into our lives, really. So yeah, we have 4 groups today. Group 1 is the Chrysocolla, Group 2 is the pink Tourmaline, Group 3 is the orange Calcite, and Group 4 is the Lapis Lazuli. So as ever, just go with the group that's pulling you. You are more than welcome to pick more than one group. If you find that your eyes are darting around and you're not really drawn to a group in particular, I do recommend pausing and perhaps returning in a different headspace maybe later on. But I will leave you for a moment to pick your pile, and I will see you in your reading. Hello, pile ones. You picked the Chrysocolla here, this amazing turquoise crystal, and today we're asking all about the full moon in Pisces. This is going to be a wonderful full moon, I think, for everyone. Very dreamy, very romantic, very magical. So obviously this is a collective read, so please take only what feels like it's meant for you and leave the rest behind. We have mycelium here. We have completion. Nice, very appropriate for the full moon, which are all about completing cycles. We have the owl as your spirit animal here. We have the King of Cups. We have the Page of Cups. We have the Four of Wands, we have the Seven of Swords, and I will just leave this Mamaruku advice card here for later. So mycelium. So for those that are unfamiliar with the concept, with the phenomenon really of mycelium is sort of like a fungal carpet in the forest that is like a network it's a way basically for trees to communicate with one another, like through this incredible network of fungi or fungi, however you say it. But what I'm feeling here for you, Pile 1, is that there's a lot going on behind the scenes in your life that you may be completely unaware of. You're perhaps sort of in one corner doing your own thing, and perhaps you've sort of planted certain seeds in your life at an earlier date, right? You may currently be focused on certain things, but it's almost like seeds that you have planted previously and may have somewhat moved on from, or you're just unaware of what's going on, basically. This is the sense that I'm getting. But it's like behind the scenes, something has been gathering for you, Pile 1. Something has been building, something has been expanding. I do have the sense this is something, it's something that you've earned, and it will be coming to fruition, I think, with this completion card. I love that the turquoise here is sort of matching the Chrysocolla that you picked. This is a really amazing feeling that I'm getting in terms of just, yeah, it's like it's almost like you're almost behind your back in the most beautiful way. Things are sort of coming together, and perhaps you have felt that life has been quiet, or you didn't know whether certain things would come together, or you wouldn't hear about certain things. There's just this overall sense that with mycelium, it's like you're much more connected to the world, Pile 1, than you perhaps know and realize currently. There's something that you do or have been doing that has had a real effect on others. And I do think that you will be seeing the results of that very imminently. Of course, when we're speaking about the moon cycles and ushering in new energy, things coming to completion, doors opening, things like that, it doesn't necessarily mean on the 20th, 21st, whenever the full moon occurs for you, where you are in the world, it's going to be like, bam, things are completing, or things are coming in, or things are reaching this culmination. But it's a marker of time, right? And it's ushering in new energy. And for you, I have such a good feeling here with this completion, and especially with this sort of Ouroboros like snake here on the completion card. You are coming full circle in a way. You're receiving something that has been kind of due, or something that you've also earned. I think a lot of you have put a lot of work into certain areas of your life, certain aspects of your life, and you perhaps have been unsure whether that work would pay off. Yeah, there's very much a coming full circle. You're reaching this very significant point in time where you're able to see the results of your efforts, and you're able to see you're able to see much more clearly, because there's something about disconnection here. It's like with this mycelium card, it's almost like you are not aware of this process of completion. It's like perhaps you're still at the beginning thinking, wait, didn't I put something out there? Like, it's almost like this progress towards completion hasn't been observable to you, or you haven't been able to track it some way. It's like something has been happening behind the scenes. I do think a lot of you are being talked about, like in a really positive way. That's what's coming through to me with mycelium. And maybe you're unaware of this. I do think you're being praised for something. And it's like it has something to do with a seed that you've planted, something like that. You will be seeing results here. And this full moon may likely seem like a very, very significant time period for you. Let's have a look at this owl. Look at this owl here. Again, what I'm feeling is this, the owl is a kind of piercing, watchful energy, right? And that's what I'm feeling with you, Pile 1, with this energy. It's almost this sense of being watched or being noticed. Because yes, perhaps you have been feeling quite alone and quite unseen. But that's not the case. There are people in your energy, even if they're not in your physical presence in your world. And I think they're not. I think this is something you're very, very unaware of. Like there's someone there's definitely someone that really has their eye on you and their focus on you very intently. And in fact, it may be more than one person. I'm getting Pal 1. Somebody that's taking you very seriously. Somebody that's really contemplating you. Wow, this owl, my goodness. It's like there's something, this, in some cases, this may be partially work related, Pal 1. Something that you've put out there, or work that you've done. It has been taken very seriously, even if you're not aware of that. And I do think there's potential here for, whether it's collaboration or something, it's just sort of like, I'm getting there's more than one energy though with this owl that is just like intensely focused on you, but you are unaware of. Interesting. The darkness here, yeah. And this may be a long time coming. This may have been, this owl, like I said, I feel like it's representing more than one person, may have been contemplating you and your work for a period of time, very deeply. This owl has an intense focus. Let's have a look at this King of Cups here. Interesting. More blue, more turquoisey colors here. I'm drawn to the heart here. I like on this depiction of the King of Cups, like his heart. There's actually more than one heart, like little sketches here of his heart. But it does feel like there's a prideful energy that I'm getting from this King of Cups, which I haven't necessarily before with this card. Is it pride, or is it like there's a determination and a deep seriousness that I'm picking up with this King of Cups? If it's pride, I think it's not related to you. This person, again, takes you very seriously. Like, that's a vibe that I'm getting also from this owl. It's like people taking you very seriously. And we do have this Page of Cups next to this King of Cups. There is sort of a sense that perhaps there is a King of Cups figure that wants to offer their cup, perhaps wants to repair something. Repair is coming through to me. Again, there's a deep contemplation that I'm feeling, as I was with the owl, with this King of Cups, is kind of, this king is sort of taking responsibility for something. And they want to sort of almost come back with self-respect and with a sense of honor. Honor is coming through to me, to honor something. This has not been easy for this king, and I think, again, it's been a long time coming. Yeah. I do think this king fears, Pile 1, that they will lose you if they don't act or they don't offer their cup. It's almost like you're going places like there, and I think this is accurate. This may, so I'm picking up for okay, so you guys may be working on some kind of project, some kind of work thing which has your focus, and this King of Cups is sort of a separate thing here. Again, it's like there's a lot of things, people that are perhaps focused on you behind the scenes that you're unaware of, and perhaps you've just sort of been going along with your life and unsure, it's been a little bit of a dead calm or something like that. This King of Cups has the sense that you are really going somewhere. So perhaps that is work related, that opportunities are opening for you, but it's also like there's this risk that you will fall out of their fingers, although I'm not sensing that they are connected to you right now. There's a distance. But there's this sense, you are really going somewhere. The way this figure on the Page of Cups is sort of going through this mystical kind of arch towards this full moon. Yeah, let's... The full moon here, see? Wow. Yeah. It's like you are moving towards this culmination or completion or things, or this is what this King of Cups senses. They sense this. So it may not be evident or obvious to them, because it doesn't seem like it's evident or obvious to you, Pile 1, but this King of Cups senses it almost on an intuitive or spiritual level, that you're kind of it's almost like if they don't get up on your level, it's like you're sort of transcending something, or you're kind of leveling up in some way. And if they don't come towards you, if they don't step up, if they don't be who you need, like you're just going to just transcend. You're just going to move on, move further and further and further away from them, until, you know, unless they sort of run after you, essentially. Yeah. This King of Cups really respects you and takes you very seriously. Again, there's this sense of people take you very seriously. So I don't know what it is you're up to, Pole One. You might be thinking, oh, I'm not a hugely serious person, but it's not like that. It's like there's respect and intense focus and this sense of like, whatever it is that you have going on or that you're putting out there, it's like other people are sensing that you are just on a slightly another level or something. It's kind of an amazing energy, and if this is you, if you're really resonating this, you should feel very good about this, because it's very intense. It's very but incredibly positive. Let's have a look at this Four of Wands card. For the Four of Wands is a card about celebration. I do think that, like I said, it's as if you're being watched somehow by people that are hoping to sort of connect with you or be part of this completion cycle. This Four of Wands is almost, because it's somebody sort of taking someone else by the hand and leading them towards this celebratory, festive, good feeling. I do think that it's likely that you're going to be coming together with people. I'm seeing this as slightly separate from the King of Cups. The King of Cups may want to be coming together with you. I'm just aware that the King of Cups is sort of looking over here, but there's something very staunch about this King of Cups, like a stubbornness or a determination, and it has to do with you. And I don't think this is the kind of energy that is fickle. But in other areas of your life, there's definitely also, I'm thinking this owl, it's like somebody taking you by the hand. I do think there's some kind of opportunity coming in for collaboration, that may be work related or a social opportunity, that is going to feel very, very, very positive to you. People want to walk beside you right now, Pole One. People want to come to your aid and support. That's what I'm feeling. People want to be part of your team, and they want to help you with something. That's what I'm feeling. Let's have a look at the Seven of Swords. If you've been watching my readings, I've been talking about this because oftentimes actually the Seven of Swords has come up to me recently, because it is a card that's often seen as quite a negative one, about deception or self-serving behavior. But it's been coming through to me a lot lately about the need to go your own way, and I think that's also very much a Seven of Swords thing, is actually knowing when to be self-serving, like when to put yourself first. That's not always easy. Knowing when to kind of break away from the crowd and do your own thing. So the Seven of Swords here. I mean, just the way that these moons are sort of this incredible light on her. There is something hidden here. There is something perhaps you've been hiding or concealing, Pile One. What I'm sensing, it's almost as if you feel like I was getting this sense of you being watched, but you're unaware of that. And I do think that perhaps you have felt unseen for a period of time, or unacknowledged. Like, yeah, as if you've been sort of working behind the scenes or secretly, but there's obviously something that you're putting out there that other people are able to see. But there's a general sense, or has been a general sense, of kind of going it alone, or yeah, just like not knowing whether other people are responding to something, or there's a caution here too. caution or a kind of fear of trusting other people, trying to connect to your intuition about what does come in for you. Again, it's just like this eye, this watchful eye that's so similar to this owl energy. It's like you're being watched, and I don't mean this in any way a dark or stalkery way. It's like in a really, really positive way. People have their eyes on you, but again, it's like, I'm not sure, is this the same energy as the owl? I do think that you will be getting insight into this. It's like there are people that want to work with you, collaborate with you, or perhaps just want to know you. And with this mycelium, with this network, it's more than what you think. This is a curious read, a very positive one, but an interesting one. But this you being watched here, yeah, this intensity with the owl and the Seven of Swords. It's like you have a kind of audience, or you have a kind of almost like a fan base, which again, it's like for whatever reason you're not aware of, but will be coming into some kind of awareness of this. Yeah, let's have a look at your sort of, this is like a new deck of mine. It's like it's called Mama Ruku. It's like artist from the Amazon. So this is a little bit of advice for you at this new moon. So this is tobacco, protection, cleansing, purge, connection with the beings of nature, internal strength, inspiration, offering, healing of I think that says scar. So there's an affirmation here of, I clear my mind, my heart, and my body from heavy energies. I'm asking the spiritual beings for protection so that external negative energies will not affect me and will be rejected from my energy field and my home. I connect myself with my essence, with the essence of nature, and with my own interior strength to resurrect my spirit, to clean my mind, and to irradiate positive energy all around me. Very important affirmation. So there's reflections here too. Questions to ask yourself, Pile 1. What do I want to clean my mind, heart, and body from? Which external energies affect me, and why do I let myself be affected by them? What are my strengths, and how am I using them to benefit others? Yeah. Some of you may have felt as if there have been some difficult energies around you, or you felt disconnected from the kind of energies that could positively aid you. There are these very positive, I think this is something to bear in mind with the full moon, is rejecting the kind of energies and people and things. I am sensing that some of you are very open-hearted and open-minded, and at times struggle to discriminate when it comes to people that perhaps want to be around you or want to be your friend, things like this. I'm sensing that this full moon cycle is an important time for you to consider what kind of energy other people are bringing to your life, what is aiding you and what is not, and be unafraid of removing those more negative energies. If there is someone in your life or people in your life that you're on the fence about whether they should be in your life, I do think a good idea is just to hold that person in your mind and try and clear your head and just feel into your body what is the physical response you're having. Because it does seem to me, it's almost like there's a lot of positive energy and people that are almost watching or admiring you from afar that kind of want to come into your world. But there may be, it's like, we can't be everyone's friend. Of course, we can't be connected to everyone in a close way. And I do think there's some necessity here to remove certain energies that perhaps are more draining or more negative, so that some more positive stuff can come in, which I think it most definitely wants to. What an interesting read, Pile 1. I think this full moon is going to be very meaningful for you with this completion card. That I do think very positive things are coming, and they might be quite unexpected, or at least the way in which they come to you might be quite surprising. And again, there's something again of just sort of, you are much more acknowledged and seen than you know. That's what I'm feeling. Yeah. Okay. yeah, if this resonated with you, Pole 1, please do leave me a comment below, let me know, and like, subscribe, and all the usual stuff that helps with the channel. And I look forward to reading for you next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, Pole 2, and welcome to your reading. This is some full moon advice for you for this full moon in Pisces that's coming up on the 20th, 21st, depending on where you are. So you picked the pink Tourmaline here. Obviously, this is a collective read, so please take only what feels like it's meant for you and leave the rest behind. So we have wood here. We have the Witness. We have zebra or zebra. Nice. In the tarot here, we have the 10 of Wands. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the 9 of Cups. We have the 8 of Wands. And in the Amazonian Oracle here, we have Elf of the Forest. So we'll take a look at that at the end. Okay, let me just check this frame for you guys. Okay, so wood. Pile 2, wood. What's striking me first on this wood card is the steam, the fire here. Pile 2s, you may have been going through a lot of change lately. A lot of sort of structures in your world that seemed as if they were very solid and permanent and long-standing have actually come apart, or it's almost like, yeah, they've been sort of tossed on a bonfire. Basically, they're burning. I'm struck by this pine cone too. Almost, I think it's a pine cone. There's something prickly about that. I think that you may have recently had some very difficult experiences. Yeah, perhaps with long-standing relationships. It may have been a long-standing job, or just something long-term that seemed like a structure that was very permanent. That it's changed. There's something changed here, and it's like something's gone up in flames, really. Well, that's perhaps how it feels to you. Pile 2, this is interesting. This Witness card. Let me have a look at this. I'm struck by this eye here that she has, or the figure here in this Witness card has on their hand. Some of you, yeah, may have had certain relationships come apart in a way that feels quite hostile, that feels quite aggressive somehow. There's a real sense, and it's funny because there was something kind of similar in Pole 1 of being watched with this eye, but it has different facets to it. It's almost like with this Witness, some of you may feel quite judged about something, or as if people are observing you and watching you. There's something actually just came through to me, like people watching you or observing you, or thinking that you will fail, or wanting, which is horrible, Pile 2. Or feeling like people are watching you and wanting you to fail at something. That's coming through. Won't be for everyone, but this Witness is about more than that. With this eye, it's also more existential. This sense of being seen. Perhaps some of these structures felt to you, Pile 2, as if they had become harmful, or they weren't in your highest good, but there was no easy way to bring them down, and it's almost like you had to set fire to them in order to move on from them. Like there was no way to make a kind of more peaceful exit. That's what I'm sensing. So you may feel like your life at the moment is a little bit of a battlefield, as if you've angered people, or people are kind of talking about you, gossiping. Again, this is coming through. Something like that. But again, it's like this Witness card is speaking to something deeper. Like there's a more mundane, perhaps quite trivial or petty aspect to this. But on the other hand, there's something like that, yeah, perhaps you were involved in certain things that didn't ultimately feel like they were in your highest good, and you've moved on from them, or you've tried to, but it's created quite a lot of drama, destruction in your world, and these things may have felt to you like they were very solid structures, and they're not, they're like down on the ground. There's something about conscience with this Witness, so it's like there's this sense of being watched and potentially judged by others and spoken about. it's almost like you've had to break away from something to do something, to create space to do something, and there's this risk of failure, certainly, but with this eye, it's like you have felt like you had to do the right thing, and there's a deeper thing about conscience and acting with integrity and doing what's right. But this has not been easy. This has been very, very dramatic. With this zebra card, it's like the zebra is this incredibly unique, standout creature. And it's almost like you've had to really, really get in touch with your individuality here, Paul, too. Like, it's almost like you're standing alone at the moment. And that might be quite an unfamiliar sensation to you. You may have been, these structures may have been to do with your work life, your social life, stuff like that. And it's like you're out here alone. There's a sadness here to this zebra. You're feeling more individual, or you're acknowledging things about you that are separate from the crowd or separate from these structures that you had inhabited. You may feel like people are looking at you and thinking that you're strange or different, or judging you. But it's like you're trying to acknowledge and actually stand in your individuality. And the way there's this colored triangle sort of in the space of the third eye, it's like you're really, really trying to follow your intuition on this. And perhaps you've tried to communicate this to others, but feel judged, or there's just a sadness here. You feel quite disconnected from people that you feel might understand you. You're feeling quite misunderstood, I'm feeling, Paul, too. Currently, like you're so different from the crowd, and perhaps that's always been the case, but it's like now you're really embracing it and acknowledging it, but it's coming with some degree of distress and pain because you feel judged and you feel very alone and unsupported. Whoa, I'm sorry, Paul, too. This is kind of difficult. But it's like with this witness, it's like it's yourself you have to answer to in the end. It's like, what do you think of yourself? It doesn't matter what other people think of you. You may be someone that in the past, Paul, too, has really, really struggled with what people think of you. And it's kind of like, and you've sort of repressed certain parts of yourself in order to avoid what other people thinking badly, or just thinking you're one of the crowd, or you're, but something has shifted here, and you're being who you really are. But this caring what other people think, it's held you back in so many ways, and it's hard for you to really shed that overnight, this caring what other people are saying about you. And I do think it's really affecting you, but on the other hand, it's not stopping you from being this zebra. It's like there's a no going back thing, because you're so much in touch with your intuition, with your sense of integrity at the moment, and honoring yourself and honoring who you really are. I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry, Paul, too. I just threw my mic on the I find that I have to hold it, otherwise my reads are so quiet. I think I do speak kind of on average maybe a little bit quieter than other people, but I did struggle when I started this channel with my videos. They're just like, why is the audio just so quiet? And so I kind of have to speak right into the microphone to make sure that you guys can really hear me. But okay, let's have a look at this Ten of Wands. Ten of Wands, of course, is a card that speaks of burdens often. Sorry, the battery there. It speaks of sort of, the burden we carry. But with this wood thing, I'm getting the sense it's more like you're letting go of anything that is holding you back here. You've had to, because often on the Ten of Wands, traditionally, there's a figure that's carrying wood, right? That is having to carry all this wood, and it's sort of beyond their strength. You've had to remove a lot. You've had to let a lot go in order to feel like you could become this zebra. And again, it's like it's come with a lot of drama, and perhaps there's still drama around you. Perhaps this is still a process for you. It's more like, I do think you have let things go with this smoke, but there's these after effects, or it's as if you're living in this aftermath of endings. I am the sense that some of you, it has to do with friendships that you felt were holding you back. And with this 10 of Wands, there's been this determination to basically let go of anything that is holding you back, so that you could truly be yourself. Yeah, it hasn't been an easy thing, but again, with this figure on the 10 of Wands, I'm getting someone that you may be someone, Paul, too, also that hasn't always been comfortable alone in the past, and that may be something that you are learning or will be learning with this full moon cycle, is how to be comfortable in your own company, how to tune into your own wisdom and intuition, how to drown out the noise and other people's opinions, all of that. This is something that you're coming into, and this is quite a shift for you. But you've had to let go of a lot of dead weight, essentially, in order to reach this place where you could feel this freedom. And as much distress you might be feeling, and you may just be someone that actually struggles with conflict. You may have a lot of Venus in your chart, potentially, Libra Taurus placements, or you're just someone that perhaps avoids conflict where they can. And also in the past have perhaps been very, very concerned about your image, your public image. And something has just gone up in smoke here, where you've had to sacrifice all of that in order to connect to your individuality and also your true self, your true dreams and hopes. So it's a twofold kind of thing. There is distress here, there is discomfort, but there's also an incredible freedom and a sense of inner truth that you're embracing. Yeah, wow, Paul too, this is amazing. Again, if this feels like it's not quite, this may be energy that's coming in. So if you feel like you're more in this state of feeling judged or this conflict around you, know that this is where the energy is moving, Paul 2, is into you feeling much more comfortable in who you are. The Page of Pentacles here, you're reaching for something. I was sensing, that there was something coming up about you feeling like people were watching you fail, which is a horrible thing. But I can see this Page of Pentacles here is really reaching for something. Usually the page, of course, has the pentacle right there, and is going their way with their pentacle. This page is reaching for this golden thing. And and they can't quite reach it, right? Some of you may be, I'm getting the sense that perhaps people have directly said something to, so there's a goal or a dream that you have in mind with this golden pentacle. There's something, and this is sort of an echo of that too, right? Sort of like a sun. There's something that you want or something that you're moving towards, which has meant you've had to let go of something. And there's been a lot of conflict here, and some things may have been said. Like this fear you have of people watching you fail. People may have told you that you're not good enough. That's what I'm getting. Or you're not, this is an unrealizable dream, something like that. Yeah, it's out of reach. You can't reach this. It's a pipe dream. This is above you, or it's too good for you, something like that. Now, these may be things people have said, or they've implied, or you fear that people think this, and this may also be something that you believe about yourself. Fears about your own confidence, about whether you can reach this golden thing. Wow. Yeah. And you don't know. This is what I'm sensing, is that you don't know, but you're aware of other people judging you. Almost like it's not like a punching above your weight thing. It's more like, yeah, this is a dream. Like you're being unrealistic. That's what it is. It's an unrealistic dream. You'll never reach this. So I do think some people have said that, to that effect. And there's this sense that you're being watched now as to whether you can make it. And this is a dream with the 9 of Cups. This is everything to you. This is like what you have your eye on. You've made major life changes in order to reach this point. And of course it will be different things. Like what this golden pentacle represents will be different for each of you, right? But it's a big dream for you. And I don't think that you're going into it blindly and with an unrealistic approach. You're very, very conscious of people watching you and thinking that this isn't going to work out. But you're very realistic too about that possibility, I'm sensing, Paul, too. Like you kind of know that as well. the way that this figure in the Nine of Cups is sort of has their head to the side and their hands up, there's this sense that you know that you might not be able to achieve something, but it's not going to stop you. There's something about this dream that's very unconventional or different. It's like other people are perceiving this as magical or unrealistic, something like that. With the Eight of Wands, in order, this is just kind of confirming to me that it's like in order to reach this pentacle, you've had to leave so much behind, and it's taking you so far away from where you have been. There's like a long road here on this Eight of Wands. Some of you may want to travel. There may be an element of travel or moving location that's involved, or going for something. This golden pentacle is involving a big degree of risk, and that's another reason, So it may be sort of like quitting a job and going for something that other people think is improbable. It's just like, for some of you, it may require actually moving and traveling and going somewhere. Either way, there's like this big distance from where you've been. It feels remote. But you, I think, are very soberly minded about this. You're going to try it. You're going to try and reach this because this is what you want. And it's not even about whether you can reach it or not. It's about honoring something within you. It's like, in the end, whether you kind of win or lose, right? This pentacle. There's something about the attempt here that seems so vital for you to connect with your individuality and to honor something inside of you that has to do with conscience. Wow. Pile 2, I admire this. I admire you. I admire you going for this pentacle. And of course, I don't know what this golden pentacle is and how, out there it is. But hey, this particular full moon is conjunct Neptune. Neptune is all about our dreams. So we have this culmination of this with this dreamy planet. They're going hand in hand, this full moon and Neptune. So there's nothing that you can't achieve here. And I will always say, my personal take is that, like, dream big, and put the work in, right? Make a big as dream as you want, just so long as you put the work in. And try, even if it seems unlikely, even if it's statistically unlikely. Give it a shot. Bear in mind that it's unlikely, but do it anyway. Why not? Of course, we have to be calculated about the risk that we do take. We can't do it every day, otherwise we'll run out of steam and we won't have the strength to do it when it really matters to us. But I'm sensing that this is not something you do every day, and I'm sensing that it's not something that you've ever done. Ever. Like, you've never taken a risk like this. You've never gone so far out of your comfort zone that you are right now. But with this Eight of Wands, like, this is happening. The Eight of Wands is a card that's all about momentum. Like, something is going somewhere. There's movement. So it doesn't matter what's holding you back here, or it doesn't matter what your fears are. Like, you're doing it. That's clear. That's where the energy is. Like, there's a very momentous, active energy around you, Pile 2. Let's have a look at your Mamaruku oracle here. Cute. So you have the Elf of the Forest, Chulachetchaki Yashingo, Elf of the Forest, that appears as a known person and makes you get lost, illusion, something that is not what it seems. To get lost, let yourself be taken by appearances, to look beyond what it seems, a respectful relation to nature. Interesting. Yeah, you're having to look beyond what things seem. You are following your intuition here. It's like there's a risk and you know it, but you're following your gut, your intuition, your higher, like this little triangle on the zebras, like the third eye. And that's perhaps why to other people it doesn't make sense, but it makes sense to you, and that's all that matters, So your affirmation here, Pile 2, is humbly, I keep a careful and respectful relation with nature and the beings who inhabit her, knowing that in this way they will all care for me and they will always guide me to find the appropriate path. Yeah, it's like you're having to look elsewhere other than perhaps what had been previously your support system to guide you. I'm awake and I perceive the reality as it is, not letting myself be taken by appearances. So the questions here is, in which way do I get in touch with nature? Do I perceive its signs? How do I demonstrate my respect and care for nature? Have I, in any moment, misled myself by something or someone only by their appearances? What have I learned? Yeah, I was sensing with you guys also that in the past you were very, very focused on your public image or what people thought of you, and that's really distorted your ability to connect with your intuition and go your own way. I do think you're leaving that behind, but I think it's quite hard for you, Paul 2. But just because it's hard, it doesn't mean that you're not doing it. Like, you're really facing things head on. This is an amazing energy, and like I said before, I really admire this, Paul 2. This is a time of big change for you as well, I think. Reach for this golden pentacle, please, Paul 2s. Reach for it, whatever it is for you. Go for it. Do leave me a comment below. Let me know. Let me know if this is you, and do like, subscribe. That would always help the channel, of course. It was a pleasure to read for you, Paul 2, and I'm wishing you all the best. And I will see you. Well, I won't see you. I'll read for you. I'll read for you next time. Take care. Bye. Hello, Paul 3, and welcome to your full moon in Pisces read. You picked the orange calcite here. So we're asking just for a little bit of advice about this coming full moon, an amazing, sparkly, magical full moon in the late degrees of Pisces. So this is going to be, I think, a good one for everyone. Of course, this is a collective read, so please take only what feels like it is meant for you and leave the rest. We have cactus. We have Pachamama. Nice. We have stingray. Okay, and in the tarot we have the Chariot. We have the Two of Wands. We have the Queen of Pentacles. We have Temperance. And from the Amazonian Oracle here, we have Butterfly. Lovely. Okay, so let's get into this cactus. The first thing that's coming to my mind, Paul 3, with this cactus card is deep waters, essentially. Something running very deep for you. Something that has been on your mind, something that you have been currently, in recent times, something that you have had to face. You're very aware, for instance, of what lies beneath, for instance, all of the inner workings, past experiences, everything that has sort of led you to be who you are, Paul 3. And you want who you are to be strong and authentic. You want who you are to be the best version of who you are. You want to feel whole. You want to feel strong. You want to feel completely alive. But I think in doing so, there's a necessity here to dig deep. And I think this has been something that you've been facing for some time. There's a cloud here of water. There's something here that is about cleansing and healing. Some of you may be seeking out healing treatments, something like that. And we have Pachamama here, which is all about the earth, right? There's a sadness here on this card with this energy, and it's as if there's a focus here on the roots. Some of you, I think, may be doing inner child work. That's coming through to me, and that's something that's come through in a lot of my readings lately, is having to do healing around early life experiences, which can be a deeply painful process. But if we're able to face these things, we can become stronger. We can feel much more connected to who we are, because we're bringing together all aspects of ourselves, all versions of ourselves, right? There's a deep sense of the unknown that's coming through to me in this Pachamama card. There's a deep seriousness and a sense of doing what needs to be done, even if it isn't easy. I'm drawn to there's similarities here between this Pachamama figure and also this Queen of Pentacles energy. And with the stingray here, there is this sense of something, of having to face pain, having to face a potentially stinging thing, right? Something that will cause perhaps a momentary sharp suffering, when it comes to the sting, right? Something that might be momentarily quite painful. There is a mournful energy that I'm getting here. I think some of you are letting go of a lot from your past, or you're reconsidering things that have happened in your past, because perhaps you've reached the point in life, Pile 3, where you can't not look back. In order to move forward, you have to look back at where you've been. You have to look at the things that have happened in your life that have brought you to where you are. But that means facing pain, facing up to, in some cases, your own choices, your own behavior that's coming through. But overall, there's a sense of your own behavior, only in that your responses or reactions, and perhaps you haven't always known how to deal with. Some of you may have faced early life trauma, and perhaps because of this you felt at times almost derailed in life. There is a mournful, a sense of loss here because of perhaps unresolved trauma in some cases. And for some of you, I think there is a deep sense of disappointment that's coming through to me with this mournful energy in people around you, something like that. Yeah. Let's have a look at this Chariot card, because the figure on this card here is just... The Chariot is about moving forward with strength, with conviction, knowing what we want and where we're going. But it's like whatever it is that you're doing, it's requiring all of your strength, I think, to move through this moment. And this full moon is sort of aiding you towards making some quite significant life progress with this Chariot. As much as you have been dealing with a kind of sense of loss or mournfulness, some of you may have actually been mourning people, there's also a big sense of momentum or change, as if you are really going somewhere and moving forward, like you are really progressing towards something that's inevitable. Yeah, bravery is required here. Also, Pile 3, that's what I'm feeling. But I think that bravery will be accessible to you. You will have the strength that you are having to cultivate. Like, you can do that. I think with this Two of Wands card, what am I getting here? Again, there's just this real sense of loss that is coming with gains. Yeah, that's it. It's like you're gaining a lot. You're having to lose in order to gain. And isn't that often the case? There were similarities in Pile 2. This is quite different though. This is deeper. It's like a lot of you are having to let go of... I'm sensing it's around something to do with your early life, family issues, old wounds, something like that. Certain truths may be revealed to you that are very disappointing, or perhaps you're already aware of certain things that are very disappointing and very disheartening to you. There's a real sadness around this. So it's like, it's almost as if you are gaining the world, the way that this person has the world in their hands. But it's coming through losing quite a lot of things that may have felt very meaningful to you, or just... And it's almost just acknowledging. There's an acknowledgement of... in some cases, other people's bad behavior or betrayals, or... This is a challenging reading. This is a sad reading, Pile 3, I know, because as I was speaking about the moon, it's a very magical, very, very lovely moon. And I think it will be for you too, but there is a very, very bittersweet, to say the least, element about this that I'm feeling, is that you're going through a stage where, in order to sort of have the world, in order to have this magic in your life, in order to have the best of life and to be the best sort of person that you can be, you're having to dig deep into your history and weed out things that may have held you back, to feeling, to being as if you could be in your own strength. With this Chariot also is confidence. I think there are things that have held back your confidence and led you to believe negative things about life. And these things are being stripped away But there's just so much facing painful truths here. But there's so much to gain from doing so. So yeah, it's like bittersweet doesn't really cover it in terms of what you're losing and what you're gaining. But ultimately, this is all for the best, right? But there's an energy here of just like, wow. Some of you may not have been supported in the way that you deserved to be. That's coming through. Yeah, it's almost like just like betrayal or failures of people around you. Yeah. And I think it is important, Pile 3, to leave yourself, leave yourself time here, to give yourself time to really grieve things. Because I do sense that for a lot of you with this, because we have this full moon here, behind the Chariot, it's like momentum is gathering and you are going places. But for now, or as particularly in the run up to the full moon, perhaps you've been in a state where you've been more focused on what you're losing rather than what you're gaining. And again, like, there is so much to be gained here by just stripping away certain things that have held you back. It's just that it's not a happy thing. I can feel that, Pile 3. Let's look at this Temperance card, because this is amazing. Temperance card is so often like one of the best cards in like whatever deck I'm looking at. Like, Temperance is just, of course it's a great card, but what's coming through to me here is you don't know. I sense, Pile 3, that you just don't know how much I think you are giving yourself a little bit of a hard time at the moment, but you have developed so much internally, your own strength to get to this point where you could face these things. So as you have been developing, perhaps you've also been mourning because you've been facing old pain. But as you've been doing that, you've also been building towards something that's going to really change your world. That's what I'm getting. Again, like, I just keep thinking there's no gains without losses, and it's like almost as if, you know, some of you may be Scorpios or have this strong Scorpio energy because, or perhaps you've been going through a Pluto transit of some kind. There's this real sense of trial by fire, you know, as in having to have everything stripped away from you in order to rise again with greater strength. I think some of you have been going through something like that, and it may have been a very long-term process, but you are rising again. And you're just going to have so much more power. There's so much power that's coming from this Chariot card, and it's also speaking to me of progress and gains. Like, you have a lot to gain. But the way that this character has the world in one hand and the other hand is sort of behind her back, it's like, don't let these experiences, painful experiences, put a damper on your gains. It's necessary to mourn things, for sure. I mean, this Queen of Pentacles is just sort of seeming to me so disappointed about something, right? But the Queen of Pentacles is very strong, very stable, has a deep inner resources to deal with life. And you're moving into this temperance energy. There is something about protection here that's coming through to me with a stingray. You may have felt harmed by others. You may have felt like you weren't protected from other people's harm in the way that you should have been. And that's a big part of this sense of betrayal. For some of you, this may have to do with, family, parents, things like that. You're just gaining so much strength. A lot of people admire you, Pile 3, that you might not necessarily realize. That's coming through to me. A lot of people can see your abundance and the way you're kind of flowering. It's almost as if like you're flowering through these painful experiences. And the character on this card has wings. It's like you're just able to, some of you may be artists, that's coming through to me, because the way she's holding this, it's like Many of you may have found that your sense of loss, your experiences of loss and pain, have really fed your creativity and your inspiration. You've been able to kind of essentially make lemonade from lemons, right? It's you're capable of so much. And I do think a lot of things will be coming to fruition because you're letting go, and perhaps these things that you have struggled to let go of have been a blockage in terms of success and new things coming in, but you have been developing, and other people can see it and admire and respect it. But there's something that you can't see, because I feel like you're more in this energy of the Queen of Pentacles right now, at least as we approach this full moon, of focusing on what has been lost. That it's almost like you can't see the full moon rising behind you. You can't see everything you have to gain. So mourn your losses, Pile 3, but don't stay in this energy for too long, because you should celebrate what you have accomplished or what you will be accomplishing. And this Temperance card is just telling me that is so much. Again, your creativity that's coming through to me, it sort of has wings, I think. Whatever it is that perhaps you're working on, it's like it's about to take off, if it hasn't already, in the coming months. I think from a year from now, your life is likely to look very different. I don't say that often. I don't think I have said that in a reading I've done, but like there's a real sense of like there's this amazing sense of progress and fulfillment that is on its way. But right now, your focus seems to be in mourning, and that's important, but don't stay there for too long, because the energetic focus on the loss is creating space which other things could fill. Wow. Yeah. There is one other note I wanted to make about this stingray, because obviously the stingray stings, right? And you may feel very wronged, and that's an energy I'm getting of disappointment, but also betrayal. And there may be something here about wanting, not revenge, it's not like revenge, but to put things to right. And I think, in fact, even the focus on that, focusing on people or things the things that people that may have wronged you, again, is energy that's wasted when you have so much to gain. There's so much that wants to happen for you, to arrive for you. I think some of you have an extraordinary talent. Yeah. And with this wings, it's like this wants to fly, right? But it's almost like this sadness and this loss and this focus on whatever it is that's happened here that's gone wrong is almost like weighing down this energy that wants to fly. It needs lightness. And so things have to be jettisoned. This sadness, this disappointment, and if there's any feelings of vengefulness, or it's not helpful, to be honest. It may be justified, but I don't think it's helpful in terms of you actually living the most fulfilling life. Sometimes we just have to let go, and that's what's coming through to me here. Let's have a look at your butterfly in the Amazonian oracle here. Very cute. Yeah. So butterfly, Mariposa, a sign that a new love arrives, a process of transformation. You will receive a visitor in your home. Yeah, a process of transformation. That's definitely this, right? Pile 3. A multicolored butterfly shows me that I should be ready to receive new people, news, or good opportunities in my life. There you go. I am open and living in the moment to perceive the magic in my life, in my surroundings, and in nature. It means that every moment has something to teach me or offer me something new. I prepare myself and open my heart to receive a new love, or to feel a new infusion of love with my partner. Yeah, we weren't really getting anything romantic here, but like I said, it's almost as if there's a necessity to stop focusing on the past, basically, as painful as it may have been. I think this is a process that you have been going through and have needed to go through, but don't stay there. and perhaps, there's so much I think that wants to come in for you, and for, in some cases, if you're single, that may be a new love. So the questions here is, what kind of magic do I perceive at this moment in my immediate surroundings? What stopped me from opening... Did I already read this? To receive new love and be open to new opportunities. What aspects and beautiful memories do I keep in my heart that make me trust and love again? Trust there. Yeah, trust and love. I think that's another important factor here, because there is this real sense of disappointment in others and having to work through that, and to know that you can have meaningful relationships with people and put your trust in people, because it does seem like people have broken your trust, or you've just been betrayed by people that are important to you. I mean, I was feeling that there was a very, very creative vibe that I was getting here with temperance, and some of you, but this may have also a very personal element, as in you may have felt blocked from receiving new love because there is an intense focus in the past, and maybe for a while that was necessary. But that's the overall sense I'm getting here, is that let it be no longer than it's for the purpose of healing, right? The past. So once we've dug deep and we're looking at these things, perhaps we don't like what we see, and perhaps it brings up a lot of pain, but it brings it up so that we work through it. But staying in this state of feeling wronged, it's that's not the purpose of this healing work, right? And I don't think that you will stay in this state for very long. I think something to bear in mind for you, Pile 3, with this full moon is very, very much trying to focus on the future rather than the past, in letting bygones be bygones. It doesn't mean letting people get away with things, but it's about your energy field, your mental energy, clearing out that space. If you find yourself focused a lot on past wrongs, is to heal this and then let it go. Because you have so much to gain. You have so much to gain here, that it's very sparkly. And like with the Neptune conjunct this full moon, a lot of you I do think are very creative and very, very talented. So don't let this experience dampen that. Don't let it block you. I know this wasn't an easy read, Pile 3, but still, I do think this full moon is going to be very, very fruitful for you if you let it. A lot of strength here. There's so much strength that you have. So much personal power here. If this was you, then do leave me a comment down below. I'd love to hear from you, and do like, subscribe, and all the usual stuff. And I look forward to reading for you the next time, Pile 3. Take care. Bye. Hello, my Pile 4s, and welcome to your full moon in Pisces reading. You picked the Lapis Lazuli. I love this stone. This is a pretty magical full moon. I think it will be for everyone with this Neptune conjunction. So we're just looking for a general forecast, a little bit of advice for this full moon. Of course, this is a collective read, so take only what feels like it's meant for you. We have the flame. Ooh, we have lightning. Nice blue to match the Lapis Lazuli there. Wow. We have the whale. And in the tarot, we have the 6 of Swords. We have the 4 of Swords. We have the High Priestess. Nice. And we have the Ace of Pentacles. Your Amazonian oracle here is Couple of Macaws. Nice. Cute. Okay, so let me just check the frame battery so that you can see everything. Okay, so Pile 4's flame. You know what's coming through to me is the life force, the idea of the life force, or like we can call it chi, whatever you call it. That kind of primal energetic flow that moves through you. Wow, Pile 4. I'm feeling like something is or will be igniting in you. It's almost like a coming back to life feeling. And with this compass here, it's like you're finding your direction, or it's like alignment. Yeah, you're finding an alignment through some kind of balance of the life force here, and it's like it's bringing you back to life. It's setting a fire inside of you. It's reconnecting you to life. So Pole 4, I don't know what you're up to, but this is an amazing energy, and with lightning right next to it, this incredible blueness. For a lot of you, I do think you've almost fought to, for some reason, save yourself. That's coming through to me from something you may have been going through for a while, and you've been fighting for your sense of connection to life. You are going to be aligned here. You are aligning with something, with your true purpose, with your true nature. But it's more of a feeling that's coming through to me. It's almost like you're being brought back to life, or kind of, or perhaps this is how it will feel to you, as if you're being kind of born again. That's coming through. And with this lightning, it's important not to resist this process too. When I was shuffling your cards, Paul, for this lightning card, I think it sort of fell, and it was sort of slightly reversed, but I don't really read this deck in reverse. But I think, bearing that in mind, it's almost as if pile 4, it's important not to resist this process, because it's like there's no growth without some kind of growing pains, right? Some of you may for a while have felt this need for change, and substantial, really significant change, and I think it's arriving. But as it does arrive, perhaps there's something scary about that. It's almost as if there's an intensity of feeling that's coming in your direction that's so unlike what you're used to. Life may have felt a bit drab, a little bit the same for a while, kind of uneventful. But with this lightning card, it's like, oh no, like there's a shift here. But there's something almost like, for instance, even like change can be scary, and even if that change is really, really positive, it's unfamiliar, and anything unfamiliar can be slightly discombobulating or frightening. There's nothing to fear here, Paul 4, but it might feel, I feel like you're opening up to something new, and it might feel very, very, very different to what you're used to the point that it's kind of overwhelming. And there's a message coming through to me to just sort of like stay strong, relax, and let these changes happen, because they are very, very positive changes indeed, like very, very positive changes. You don't have to doubt that. Pile 4, I just was looking at the pile 4s as I just checked the camera there. It was at 4 minutes and 44 seconds, so there you go. Yeah, I think that says it all, because we were talking about alignment, and I often read certain synchronicities that I'm experiencing as being a signal of my alignment with something. And I do think pile 4s, I think you are really in your element. You're really on the right path, but it's almost as if with this flame, you're being kind of propelled towards this path. It's like things may have been slow and they're going to really speed up. It may feel a little bit like you're being struck by lightning in a beautiful way, but just let this happen. Let this happen. Now, this whale here is a slightly different vibe. The whale has quite a different vibe from this flame and lightning, my goodness. But what I'm getting here is that this whale has been in the deep here, in the dark, for some time, diving deep. Some of you may have been feeling quite alone, quite disconnected. But this whale, it's the way that I'm seeing this is the whale is swimming up towards where the light is. It's like there's a breakthrough happening for you. Yeah, breakthrough is sort of the appropriate term here. And you may have put a lot of effort into reaching this point, pile 4, and you are just here at the threshold with this full moon period. And like I was saying, look, it's not necessarily like clockwork with the full moon. It's a threshold that we pass that ushers in new energy. So this is the energy as it stands that you'll be coming into as with this lunation cycle. And my goodness, pile 4, like it's almost making me breathless. It's like you're coming up from this dark, and you're a deep diver. I think you've really been through some stuff, and I also think you've learned a lot from almost like the time that you've spent down in this dark place, sort of swimming, gathering knowledge. There's a lot of knowledge that you have gained from being in the dark almost, because this high priestess underneath it, it's like, oh, you've gotten some wisdom here, pile 4, from your experiences. Whatever difficult experiences you've had, they have not been wasted on you. You have become incredibly strong, incredibly knowing. It's just, there's a peacefulness to this whale too. There is. It's like you have been swimming towards the light for a while, and it's like you've nearly made it here. Like you're gonna make it, pile 4. It's in sight. This is amazing. Wow. 6 of Swords. Okay. What's coming through to me is truth, is, underneath this flame, something about this alignment, this awakening process has come with having to face the truth about something. And that may have felt painful at times, being in these depths, looking at the truth of things. But it's almost, there's a peace here, like with the whale, that you're finding peace with a lot of this stuff, I do think, pile 4. You're finding peace with disappointment, things that maybe didn't go your way. You may have felt misaligned for quite a period of time, but you're finding peace with that. And you're moving on. The 6 of Swords is a card of moving on, moving away from, the more difficult waters, the darkness here, and you're moving into the light, and that is sort of the spirit of the 6 of Swords, this transition to more peaceful times. So even though it feels like this incredible jolt, this awakening, this flame that's being ignited, it is taking you to a place that's very stable and very peaceful and very calm in comparison to where you've been. But there's going to be a kind of sudden shift, is what I'm feeling with this top energy. The way this light here, it's like the life force. Yeah, it's like it's being switched on. Wow. This is just such a good vibe. Pile 4s, yeah. And with the 4 of Swords here, like I said, I think throughout your darkness, your darker times, you have become very strong, very wise, very knowledgeable. And also I think your spirituality has helped you through that. The 4 of Swords is a meditative card. It's a card of rest. Yeah, I do think greater peace is coming in for you, but it's almost like, that this change has been coming, has been on the horizon for a while. You may have had some fear about this. Like I said, potential resistance to change. I mean, it's only human, right? Pile 4, it's only human. There's a message here about it's essential to maintain, if you have certain practices for centering yourself, to maintain that through this change. Because like I said, it might feel quite sudden, although I don't think it is. It's like you've been preparing this for a long time, but to stay centered and connected and grounded and maintain the connection to whatever it was that got you through this darkness and led you to this high priestess energy, whatever it was, whatever you did to cope, to survive, whatever practices that you had to bring you here. Hold tight to those things as you move through this transition. That is the message that's coming through to me. Yeah. But wow, let's have a look at this high priestess, because my goodness, she is mighty. She is mighty on this deck. Look at her. Wow. And this gown. It's like, as you move through this transition, again, I just think you're going to be feeling so incredibly strong and powerful and admired also by others. I think you are going to be coming into some success, I'm feeling, but also just a period of time. This is much more internal, what I'm feeling, of just feeling so much more in tune and solid. The high priestess sees beyond the veil, so there's some kind of understanding that you're coming into about where you've been and why you maybe went through certain things. There's a darkness here, the back, of this card. It's like you learned, this is how you learned, but you've learned lessons. Like some people go through stuff, but they kind of they're not able to translate their experiences into knowledge and wisdom. But that's not you, Paul, for like you are, and you have, and you will be even more. But there's just such an immense strength that I'm getting with this High Priestess. You don't know how strong you are, but I think that you will be feeling it. You'll just be feeling so much connected to yourself and being able to just really own who you are and be who you are, Paul, for. And I think that will be seen and observed by others. People will really respect this. And with this Ace of Pentacles, this incredible golden coin, wow. I do think, because we have this ace, but there's also all these jewels here. As you move through this transition, like I said, it's like there's changes happening. And I think it does have to do, it's a major internal shift, but that internal shift and alignment with who you are, with your purpose, is also going to be bringing in, like, I'm getting like almost like an abundance of riches. It's like this High Priestess is sitting on her throne here. And it's like she just has to sit there being herself, but there's all of this stuff that's sort of coming to her. And it's almost like I'm seeing this hand as like she's magnetized these riches, these golden opportunities, and they're almost like bouncing towards her. Some of you may have felt quite blocked. Like I said, your life force is being switched on. There's a balance, an inner balance, energetic balance that's happening. You may have been misaligned for some time, and fought to reach this point. But as you're coming into this new phase, it's like you're magnetizing things towards you. There's just like one incredibly golden opportunity here that I feel like is sort of waiting to be claimed by you, or it's just like, but there's the other things too. It's not a single thing. I just think your entire life is going to have a different kind of flow, like as you move through this energy. Wow. Pile 4. Yeah, I mean, I don't have anything really negative to say here. Like, this is an amazing read. I mean, my only real caveat here was don't resist what's happening, because even though change is scary, this is an extremely positive change, but also hold tight to whatever it is, the tools that you have developed and honed over time that has made you into such a survivor. I mean, blue, you did pick the Lapis Lazuli, and blue is very significant here. You see with the lightning and here behind the macaws, which is making me think of the throat chakra. I think when you move through this energy, you're going to be much more clearer in what you think and feel, and actually expressing that. If any of you work in, or there's something that you do in terms of writing, speaking, communicating, you may find that is really enhanced as these changes happen for you. And there may be many more opportunities. Money is also coming through to me. You may be earning more when this alignment happens, because you're much clearer about where you're going. It's like there's going to be a clarity in terms of what you really want, and feeling the strength to go for it. Because perhaps when you were in this darker energy, you just didn't feel like you had the strength to do perhaps whatever healing work you had to do, things you had to face, and also to go for whatever it was, your dreams or whatever would have brought you perhaps more material abundance. But you're having that strength now, and there's going to be a lot of opportunities and potentially money. So that's not something I say a lot, but that's what I'm feeling here. It's not just about money, it is about real amazing tangible opportunities and changes. But yeah, let's have a look at these cute macaws here on this Amazonian oracle. Okay, so a couple of macaws fly together in freedom, complementarity, and complicity as flight companions and trust. A couple of macaws teaches me the secret to love freely, to consider my partner as a flight companion, to enjoy the presence of each other and respect his, her, or her space. I learn to trust myself and in love. I dare to fly together with my partner, sharing dreams as well as accepting that we complement each other in our differences. Okay, so the questions here, the reflections. What does it mean to me to love freely? In which moments has it cost me to respect the space and differences of my partner? What secrets did my grandparents give me to have a good relationship with my partner? Interesting. Yeah, well, this is very much a card about partnership. And I am feeling, and this happened, I think, on another pile also, it wasn't necessarily a read about romance. This is about your life in general. This is about things going on within you in a very deep way. And like I said, I do think more than one thing is going to be coming in for you with this change. And yes, perhaps a relationship, a new relationship, or if you're already with someone, being more strongly aligned with that person, or feeling like you're kind of in the right, going in the same direction, stuff like that. Yeah. And with the blue, there may be sort of just channels of communication also that are opening up between you and someone else. When you were in the state of more misalignment, perhaps it's almost as if, people that perhaps wanted to reach you couldn't, that you were sort of in this darkness, and perhaps they didn't know how to reach you, or didn't know where you were, or something like that. But there's something very present about this energy that you're moving into, and magnetic. Like I said, it's as if you're magnetizing certain things, certain opportunities, certain people to come in your direction. It's an incredibly strong and powerful energy that I'm feeling from this pile 4. Wow. So yeah, just to summarize here, these are changes that you've earned. They're happening. They're big. You don't need to be afraid. Like you have put the groundwork in for all of this, but to sort of stay strong, stay centered, stay grounded, and allow your life to kind of go in the direction that it's meant to go in, which I feel strongly pile 4 is going to be amazing for you, going to be absolutely amazing. So yeah. Pile 4, if this resonated with you, please do leave a comment below. Do let me know. Do like and subscribe and all the usual stuff that really helps with this channel. But it was a pleasure. It was really a pleasure for me to read for you today, pile 4, and I wish you the best of luck for all these incredible changes. Enjoy this full moon, mark it in some way. I think that increases its power, to honor it with some kind of ritual, something like that. But thank you, pile 4, and I look forward to reading for you next time. Take care. Bye.